Hello, welcome to lecture 19. For this lecture, we're going to set dead loads in our 3D model. Okay, so after applying the supports, let's apply the loadings. Okay, so under the loadings, let's start with the definition of dead load. Okay, so click the plus sign here at the definition, then click reference load definitions, then click add. Okay, so the loading type is dead, and for the title, let's call it reference DL. Then click add. So the first thing that you need to assign in assigning dead loads is its self-weight. So click reference dead load, click add, then under self-weight, so make sure that the direction is Y and the factor is negative for the downward direction of your dead load. Okay, click add, then close. As you can see, we have a question mark here. That means that you are to assign the self-weight in your model. So click assign to view, then click assign. Okay. So next is we need to assign the different dead loads such as the walls, 6 inches CHB for exterior and 4 inches CHB for interior. We also have the ceiling loads and the floor finish. Okay. So for easier application of loadings, it is better if you create a group for the different types of loading. Okay, so Control G. So I have prepared here the different groupings. Let's say for exterior walls. If I highlight it, so these are the exterior walls in our model. Okay. So now for the interior walls. So these are now the different interior walls for each loading. So from ground floor, second floor, and third floor. So if we look at the second floor view only or plan view, highlight the second floor, view selected objects, then click the plan view or top view. So if we highlight the exterior walls, these are the exterior walls. Then these are the interior walls for second floor. Okay. So how can we create groups? So it is just like what we do here. So create, then enter group name, then select type, which is beam. Then once you have OK this, so you have to assign the load. So highlight the members, then click associate to selected geometry, just like what we did here on our previous lectures. Okay, so let me just show you the different groupings per floor. So for the ground floor, let's highlight ground floor. You selected objects. So for ground floor, this is your exterior wall. This is your interior wall. And also, we also have a railing. If we look at the architectural plan, so at the front view, we can see here the railings, this point, and also at this point. Okay. So we also have the railings for the upper floors. So just like what I highlighted with the yellow highlight. Okay. So going back to our model, so this is for the interior walls and for the railings. So this is for the railings. Okay. Next, for the ground floor, or for the second floor, this is the exterior wall, interior wall. Oh, we need to include this also for the interior wall. So just click associate. Okay, for the railings, For the third floor, so exterior wall, interior wall. Oh, it's not assigned in third floor. So let's just highlight the beams. So these are the interior walls. Okay, then click associate. Okay, so I know now the problem. So if you are in the plan view, then you click associate here. If we go back to our 3D model and click interior walls, okay, so the highlight or interior walls are only associated with the selected beams for the ground floor only. So what we need to do is to select all the interior walls for all the floor levels. So what we can do is to select all the plan view for each level from ground floor to third floor, then top view, then select all the interior walls. Okay, so let's verify it in 3D view. Okay, so if that's correct, you can now associate it to the selected geometry. Okay, for the railings, this is now for the railings. For the ground floor, second floor, and third floor. Okay, so once we've created the group for the exterior walls and railings, we can now assign the loads for each groups. Okay, so for exterior wall, we can see here that the 6 inches CHB is 3.3 kilopascal and the 4 inches CHB is 3.17 kilopascal. So this 6 inches is used for exterior wall and 4 inches is used for interior wall and the railings. So what we need to do here is to multiply the unit weight or the weight for CHB by its height because this is in kilopascal, but if we're going to apply a uniform load, it is in kilonewton per meter. So we need to apply it to its height. So the height from floor to floor is 3.2, but if you can also subtract the depth of the beam. But for more conservative value, you can just use 3.2. Okay, so for our lecture, let's use 3.2. So click add uh, member load. Then let's use uniform load. We have different types of loading here. We have uniform force, uniform moment, concentrated force, concentrated moment. If you have a varying loads, trapezoidal load, hydrostatic, pre or post stress, and fixed end. But for this example, let's use uniform force. So for W1, that is 3.3 for exterior wall times 3.2, which is the height of floor to floor. So that is 10.56. But make sure this is in negative because dead load is in negative direction for the building. Okay, so the direction is GY, then click add. Also, let's add the load for the 4 inches CHB wall. So that is 3.17 times 3.2. That is 10.144. Click add. And for the railings, that is 1 meter using the uh, 4 inches CHB. So that is negative 3.17. Then click add. Okay, so how can we assign it easier to our model? So Control G, then click the exterior wall, then click highlight. Then you can now select uh, this weight, so 10.56 for exterior wall, then click assign to selected beams. Okay, so this is now your loadings. For interior wall, so click highlight, then click the load for 3.17, then assign to selected beams. Then also for the railings, click highlight, then click the specific loadings, then click assign to selected beams. Okay, so that is for the walls and railings. So now let's proceed with the slabs. Okay, so for the slab, so let's start with ground floor. So we have two different types of slab. We have two-way slab and one-way slab. So we have to group it accordingly. So for the ground floor, this is the two-way slab and this is the one-way slab. Okay. So how can we create a group for this one? So the same uh this is the same process, but the only difference is if you create it, the select type is not beam but floor. Okay, so if you're going to create group for the slab, select type is floor, not beam. Okay, then just highlight all the members, then click assign to selected geometry. Okay, so for example, so for two-way slab, so select all the members, enclosed members, then click associate to selected beams, then click assign. Then also for the one-way slab, so just highlight the one-way slab, click, select associate to selected geometry, and click associate. Okay, so that is for the ground floor. So let's take a look now for the second floor. So second floor two-way slab, second floor one-way slab. Okay, for the third floor, let's highlight it, view selected objects. Then if we highlight two-way slab, then one-way slab. And also we can also select or create a group for the ceiling. So two-way slab and one-way slab. Okay. Okay, so let's now proceed with the load application. So again, under definition, reference load definition, and for the reference dead load, click add. Okay, now for the dead load, what we're going to do is to add a load for the slab, for the floor finish, and also for the ceiling loads. Okay, so first for the slab, so let's just assume first the thickness of the slab. So the unit weight of concrete is 24. Then say we have a 150 mm of slab. So times 0.15. Therefore, 3.6 kPa should be applied in our floor lap. Okay, so um, here, let's proceed with floor load. Then click the group. Okay, so let's create first a floor load for ground floor two-way slab. So the pressure is negative 3.6. Direction is global, but since this is two-way, don't check one-way distribution. Okay, click add. Okay, so now it is added as ground floor two-way slab floor load for F load negative 3.6 GY. Okay, so also let's apply it to ground floor one-way slab, but for one-way slab, we have to check the one-way distribution, and by default, it is towards the longer direction. Then click add. Okay, so let's also apply it to the second floor. Two-way slab, do not check one-way distribution. One-way slab, check one-way distribution. For third floor, two-way slab, and third floor one-way slab. Okay? How about for the ceiling loads? So for the ceiling, so here we have 0.2, but then um let's okay. So for the ceiling loads, we have to input 0.6 kPa, but for second floor and the third floor, we have to input just zero point 0.2 and zero point 0.2, so that is zero point 0.4 because we only have a ceiling load at the top, okay? But for second floor and third floor, we only have the utilities and EE and ME. Okay, so going back to our model, so for the ground floor, we do not have any utilities, ceiling. So let's start with second floor, two-way. So for second floor, that is negative 0.4. Then, since this is two-way, we do not have to check one-way distribution. Then also here, okay, third floor. Then, one-way distribution. But once we proceed with the ceiling, that is now 0.6. Okay, so two-way, do not check one-way distribution, and then one-way. Okay, so this is now for the, then click close. Okay, so we are done with concrete, steel, CHB for the walls, ceiling, and also floor finish. Oh, we forgot floor finish. So we can add it directly on this load. So instead of 3.6 kPa, so let's add 1.1 kPa. Okay, so 3.6 plus 1.1, that is 4.7. So what we can do here is to double click it. Then we can change the pressure to 4.7. Also with the ground floor here, 4.7. So we need to do it for all the floors. Okay, so once we've changed all the dead loads for the slab and floor finish to 4.7, let us now proceed with, okay, so let's now proceed with the roof loads. Okay, as we can see, we have here the two roof girders, and it will carry the same loads that our steel truss carries. But the only difference is that our tributary length is not 4.6 but half of 4.6. Okay, so to do that, let's check the loads that we've input here on our truss model. So going back to analytic modeling, loadings. For the dead load, that is 4.6, so we divided by 2. Okay, so going back to our model, click add. Then for member load, uniform force, so 4.6 divided by 2, so that is negative 2.3. Again, this is for the global Y, click add. Then here, let's click the top board of the roof girder. So it's better if you look at the um, left view or right view. Then select all the, oh, let's select this also. Okay, then click assign to selected beams. Okay, so how about for the trusses at the center? So remember that we already have a loadings here for node 1, node 9, and node 17. If we take a look at our model, this is load 1. So where's node 1? This is node 9, node 17, and node 1. Okay. So let's start with node 9. So we can use a filter here. Then let's just select uh, dead load. Okay, so this is the vertical dead load for load 9, load 17, and load 1. And we have to input it to our model. So 20.42. So add. So now, instead of member load, let's select nodal load. Okay, and then negative 19.42. Is that correct? 20.42. 20.42. This is for load 9. Then click add. Next is load 17, 22.926. Click add. Then for load 1, 9.555. 9.555. Okay, so click add. So what we can do is we can highlight this. So this is for node 1. Then manually select the nodes here at the center. But if you're confused because of these loadings, you can go to geometry, then create a group for this one. So select create, group name is node 9, then select type is node, then click OK. Okay. Then assign to selected geometry. Okay, so if we highlighted this one, so this is now your node 9. Now let's create again a group for node 17 and node 1. Okay, so for node 17, these are the nodes. Then click associate. And for node 1, okay. So going back to our loading, under definition, reference. So now if we selected this one, this is for node 9, then Control G, then just highlight node 9, then assign to selected nodes. Okay, so this is now your load. So it is now very large. Okay, so let's highlight again node 17. So assign negative 22.926. Click assign to selected nodes. And for load 9, highlight. So this one assign to selected nodes, then click yes. Okay. So we have now added the dead loads for the walls, railings, slabs, and floor finishes, ceiling, and also the dead load from our steel truss. Okay, so if you want to scale down these forces, all you have to do is to go to your view, then label settings, then here you can click on the scale, then for point force, you can have a larger point force. Okay, so as you can see, this is now the scale. Okay, so also you can limit your scales for distributed force, and load force. Okay, so just click apply, then click OK. Okay, so that's all for the application of dead loads in your 3D model. Thank you.